Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Hello.
We know that it might be a small group today because there's obviously a 4-day weekend. So yeah, Colin, you are new. Tell me, where are you at in your process, brother? What's going on, man?
Yeah, no, nice to meet everyone. So just signed up, I guess, in this new session. So today just got with PCS, got the LLC and holding company set up, and then just got through module 4. So I think module 5, I guess, is that big step where you start to learn about the paperwork. So excited for that process. And yeah, just excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. Good for you. Yeah. So basically this is just like some type of accountability group where, we get people from all different walks of life. They come out here and, they kind of tell us like, hey, where they're at in their process, what type of help they need. And then we kind of just go from there, and, we just let everybody kind of chime in. And I see that we don't have that many guys here today, guys. And that's fine. If you guys want, we can all hop on on you guys' videos. If you guys have any questions about where you guys are at in your process, if you guys are stopped, we don't mind helping you guys out. And then if we want to cut this meeting short, we can. So, but yeah. Anyways, oh, I don't even know how to say your name. Detis. Well, where are you at? Are you new as well?
I joined about 2 months ago, but I'm from Singapore.
Oh, Singapore, cool.
Yep.
Singapore. And so where do you currently live in the US?
I don't.
Oh, you're still in Singapore.
Good morning. Yeah, it's like 8 a.m. here. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, good morning.
Morning.
Awesome. Man, look at all these action takers. We still got people coming in. That's awesome. Hey, Josh. So yeah, we just kind of been telling everybody, Laura and Hans, that if you guys have any questions today, kind of would be like one of the best days to do it, because there's going to be like a few people. So like, if you guys need help, like wherever you guys are at, just let us know. And if we can help facilitate to move you guys on, or what steps you guys can take. This would be like the perfect opportunity to do it, because you've got all of us here right now. So, and that's anybody. Beth, Laura, Madison, Griselda. This goes out to all you guys.
I got a question for you guys, since it seems like a lot of you have already been in the process a lot. So now that I'm in a position where I want to start marketing my services, from like what I've learned in the course so far, it's a lot of just like, I think mostly he mentioned, it's a lot of in-person stuff, like going to RIAs, meetups, and then just like advertising your services in person. But then like, I guess Facebook groups for wholesaling is another big one Pace mentioned. Are there any other ones I should be really putting my radar on?
Yeah, so definitely you always want to like just be active on social media. That's number one. You always want to try and do that, and then just try to look at different groups that you can hop on, the creative finance groups, any of the sub 2 groups, so all the Gator groups for sure. And then obviously there's wholesaling groups, real estate marketing groups. There's just a whole bunch of different forums that you can on social media. That's for me. I think social media is really good as far as building up the your presence and allowing people to see you face to face, like almost immediately. So,
And I want to add to the one thing recently, since obviously the videos that Pace has on going into Facebook groups and posting this blanket message, it's because there's a lot of us Gators. That message has been out there a lot.
Yeah.
So what we're finding to be pretty successful when we first come on board, because it's been happening for at least a year and a half or so.
Yep.
Of posting those messages, is actually when you see a need from a wholesaler, or they're introducing themselves to you. And Giselle shared this with me offline. She was letting me know that if you just message them directly and just say, hey, that's an awesome deal you got, can I help you with underwriting it, just to like make sure that the numbers work and they look good, and you know, if you need any help with this from time to time, I can help you with that. You know, just being that person, that encourager, that person in their corner.
Mhm.
And then they'll naturally just want to open up and be like, well, what do you do? You know, like, how can we start working together? So that's
Great.
something else in addition that I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's great. No, thank you.
Yeah, and I think too, since the platforms that went more saturated have been Facebook and Instagram, if you start going over towards also like other social media platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe like find people, investors there too, like that can give you like more opportunity because maybe not many people are in those in those
Sure.
spaces too. And yeah, for sure, definitely just come in and like be like, oh hey, what a great deal, or like, hey, I saw your post. That's really, really cool. Just come in with value and then don't introduce what you do just yet. Once
Yeah.
they ask you like, oh, what are you doing? Like, are you wholesaling? Now that's when you're like, oh, I'm actually doing this and this and this. And then you start building that conversation too.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Guys, we got any more questions? Anything out there? Yeah, go ahead, please.
I got a question. Okay. So I came across something and I was hoping I needed a more experienced Gator to answer my question. So it's a deal wherein you have to show funds. So I said, okay, so tell me the mechanics and how does it work? So the deal is you have to show funds under your company name for 3 months. Assume any number, 100,000, 500,000, $1 million. And they give you 3% of the equity for showing the funds. My question here is, okay, is this loan sponsoring? And the response I got is no, it's not. It's not loan sponsoring. It's more of the lender wants to see that it's not a syndication on the back end. And so I was a little kind of like queasy. I didn't understand how it works because I'm not giving the funds. The funds are remaining under my name, right? I just have to show money and then I get 3% of the equity. I mean, how does it work? Has any of you guys gone through something like this?
Yeah, so basically what you're essentially asking is, and at the same time telling me is that whoever it is that you're working with needs a POF, and that would be your portion of the deal. Is that correct?
Right.
The proof of funds.
Yeah.
And they just need to see that the proof of funds is seasoned in your account.
Yeah.
Okay, and what specifically is the ask here?
So the ask is, they want to see, okay, so the ask is, do you have, let's say, 500,000? Okay, I can wrangle something together under your name. Under me and my brother's names, perhaps, yeah, I can do that. And then it needs to be there for 3 months. Then I asked, well, what kind of bank account? Does it need to be a US bank account or can it be an international bank account, HSBC, Citibank that sits elsewhere in the world? She mentioned, yeah. So you just have to show that, okay? And then we will give you X% off the deal.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so essentially what is happening then is they're asking you to show that you have the funds so that way they can proceed with the deal that they're doing. So essentially the only part that they need from you in that part of the deal is the POF. And POFs, you know, frankly, they can, I'm not trying to say this like with a loose tongue, but they can be bought from anywhere. So like you can go to Jamil's and get hit, pay $25 and get a POF if you needed to proceed with whatever the deal is that you're doing.
Okay, so because I my hesitation here was, is this a loan sponsorship?
Yeah,
Because I
yeah, so,
want
yeah.
Oh,
Let me jump in a little bit here, right? So Jake Villaret, he does a lot of this, what you're talking about, the exact scenario.
right.
What you got to be careful is they're not putting loan under your name. My very first deal was no proof of, just provide the proof of fund. You will get $7,000.
Yes, 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 like things like that. I'm like, really?
Exactly, right? So same
Gosh.
deal, but I spoke with the title company, and to my surprise, the loan was being put under my name.
Oh,
So you got to be careful. And let's assume for a minute that, the person that you're working with is not putting loan under your name, right? And one of the concern I think Jake had was, your 3% or 5%. What's your control on that one?
which is absolutely nothing, right?
Right,
Because
right. So
You
who gets
can
to decide? Yeah, who gets to decide when you're going to sell the property, right? So something has to be written in there. So those are kind of things you might want to, explore. How do you get that 3% or 5% of equity under your control? Well, then just as waiting for them to decide, what they do with that 3%.
okay, and also in this way, right? You mentioned, because that was it. I was like, that's too good to be true. Where's the risk? Because Amaya's sponsor, and thanks for answering that. But if you also buy, let's say, from Jamil, a proof of funds.
So
uh, Go
there's
ahead.
there's a difference between kind of a and getting an approval saying, okay, you know what, I promise to give Dita as a loan of $1 million versus actually showing the money in your account, right? So
Right.
those would be two different things. So in this case, I think what they look for is, you showing $500,000 in your account, maybe giving them a bank statement.
Right.
So two different things. A generic letter that Jamil provides may not be good enough in this case, right? Because they would not have come to you if they could have got that easily for $25.
Yeah, so
Right.
now I see what's happening. Basically, so right out of the situation, I almost feel like you're about to walk into a double close. MJ, does that make sense?
Yeah, possibly.
It almost seems like it's going to be a double close. Like we probably need this, so show us this, so that way we don't even need to take the money out, because they just have to show that she has the money and it's seasoned in her account. But yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Because I wasn't really sure what was happening, but I'm a newbie, so I was like trying to figure out, how can I get screwed? But thank you so much. So it's most likely, this is most likely a double close scenario.
I mean,
Because-
that's the first thing that jumps into my head as soon as they say that, because MJ is correct. Like the POF, it's $25. Why would they need you? But where they would need you to show that the money's in that account is in a double close. So it's just something that
Thank
came to
you.
my mind. So I figure I'd
That's
say it out
helpful.
loud.
Yeah,
Thank you
just be cautious on the loan part. You don't want the ownership of that loan. You don't want to own that loan.
And so what MJ means is this. So MJ and I are purchasing this business in Florida. And originally we were gonna originally do 25% equity in the property, or excuse me, in the business. And what had happened was we figured out, like, if they wanted to bring in like some type of operations manager and pay them, let's say the annual income was 500,000 and we was only making 502,000, well, that would leave us split in $2,000, and we essentially wouldn't have any say in that. And that's kind of what MJ is saying to avoid from you as you walk through these situations, is be mindful of the equity that you have, and also be mindful of how you control that equity that you have. So,
Right. I think the only way to control that equity in this situation is to basically put, I get no less than this amount, a dollar amount, right?
Oh.
Every quarter, the rest is cherry, but it doesn't go lower. Right.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that is the control, which is you owe me X, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in a certain amount of time.
Right. Or
Instead
you know
of
what?
and
Or
because
second point you can add is, let's say you don't sell the house in 2 years, right?
Mm,
I will be 3% partner until 3 years or 2 years, whatever the number is. And after that, I need $50,000 paid to me, because they might want to keep the house for 20 years. But that
yeah,
doesn't.
I was also like saying, so I get it. in perpetuity, right? Because I was like trying to figure out the deal. It's like, you're gonna pay me 3% in perpetuity, or unless we sell the house, but there's no definitive date. So it's a variable. And I'd prefer to have a constant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, constant, but if it's only paying you, let's say $500 a year, not worth a good return, right? But we are working on a deal actually, where we are getting perpetuity for a $13 million property, right? So it's 2%, but it's a bigger amount, right? So we are okay to get that amount for whatever life we can get it for. But if it's just $500 every year, I don't
It's
want
too
to
much
get that.
hassle.
I want to get let's say money at the end of 3 years. I want to get $30,000-$40,000 into my account, and you decide when you guys want to sell the house. I don't care after that. Right?
Understood. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So draw a balance between how much money you are getting versus when you want it.
Okay. Got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the answers.
That's a super good point, MJ. That is, guys, that was actually a gem, guys. As you guys move forward and you guys are doing your deals, or you're finding these contracts, obviously protecting the money, you have to make that definitive nature between the two. You have to know how much you're getting paid and then how long it's taking you to get that payment. So super big right there, you guys. Like, and then that'll help you to negotiate and build your foundations as you guys move forward, and you guys are going through and negotiating your own deals. Guys, I'm not sure how this happened, but we actually have a lot of action takers here today. So let's just stop real quick. I'm going to lock arms with everybody here in this room. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to imagine that right now I'm taking a small Gator step on my financial path to financial freedom. I'm going to say that everything that is coming my way to destroy me, that didn't happen. Here I am today with every single action taker in this room. So thank you guys for being a part of this. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for taking this Gator step. You guys, it's time to grow. Let's go. Growing Gators is a lifestyle, everybody. Growing Gators is a lifestyle. That's a fact.
I have a follow-up question with Ditas. Ditas, did they tell you what their exit strategy is? What are they doing with the property?
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
No, they did mention it's an or situation. So this is like the first conversation that I'm just
Mhm.
trying to figure out, okay, what is it? So they said, oh, we want to do an Airbnb or sell it.
Airbnb? Okay.
There you go.
Okay, let's see. Okay, there you go. So
Yeah, because if it's like 3% equity, so that because like I just entered like a deal, but it's a 50-50, so it's easier math for me. So like
Okay.
any earnings on that, I got 50% equity on that deal. So we're just 50-50. So it's easy math for me, but for you it's 3%.
Right.
So, and I think it all depends on the exit strategy, because for Airbnb, it depends on the income is, it's variable. It depends on who will rent it out. So you should make sure that you have access to like whoever, like how much is the income per month, so that you'll know like 3% of that.
Yeah, there are too
What I
many
mean.
moving parts. I'm not comfortable. That's
Okay.
it's like too many moving parts. I'd like
But
something
that's
a little
I
more
mean, yeah, you should check your math as well. Like how much are you putting in? Because for like, that's what I did for mine. I compared like, how much I'm putting in versus how much I'm getting. So.
Yeah. Thank you. Grace. Hey, I hear with your accent, I hear you're Filipina. We
Yes,
should
I
connect.
am. Yes.
Okay. Likewise.
Okay.
Well, I know where to get some adobo from then.
Yes.
Ah,
And
I
sinigang.
put mine
And
with
pancit.
beer.
I love it. All right, call in. Thank you for waiting patiently. What you got?
Awesome, guys. 2 quick questions. And firstly, Austin, once again, thanks for setting this whole group up. Love your guys' energy. I can tell you're all like super experienced and helpful, and that means the world to me. But diving into the first question, for those like more established Gators, like what are you guys like benchmarking, and what should you be like aiming for? Like once you're kind of established, of when you're funding these deals, or like funding the lending, like what percent is based on like the corporate credit that you guys have done? I guess what percent are you trying to get, like raise private capital for those deals? And then like once you're really established, do you guys use any of your money at all to fund the deals? It kind of what's the benchmark that you guys aim for?
That's a really good question, bud. And to have that question coming in just brand new, that's a really good question. So it's a mixture of all of everything that you just said, right? It's a mixture of using your own capital, using your credit, and then becoming a capital raiser, right? It's about establishing yourself and then cultivating relationships so that way you can move forward in whatever quest it is that you have set in front of you. So it's a mixture of everything. And as far as the industry standards go on where you want to be, whether it be EMD, whether it be PML, whether it be bridge or gap lending, that is really up to you and whatever creative finance you come up with. And that's the beauty of what we do. We don't have to be in this, see this little box that's lit up in front of we don't have to stay in that box, brother. When you come to creative finance, you can literally take all the stars and if you want to put them all into your deal, you can. And that's what I love the most about creative finance, you guys, is the fact that if I want their car or if I want their house or if I want that business and they want your money, because that's why I tell you guys, you have to build the table, right? Because you are the value. Once you find out that you are the value, once you find out that when you come to the table, you are the table. Like, this is what I mean when I say, don't be afraid to ask for cross collateral. Don't be afraid to protect your money, because it is your money. And when you go out there, Cullen, and you're raising other people's money, it will be your best interest to protect their money as much as you can. Like yes, MJ and I, we may post one or two triumphs, but I'm telling you, I'm giving out more defeats left and right, because to me, that is more important than any triumph. Because if I can show somebody how not to get defeated, then I did my job. You see, and the same process I will say to you is find out before anything, before any money, before any percentage, before you talk about how you get equity, you find out how you protect the money. You find out and you start with 1 penny. If you lose 1 penny, you didn't do your job. So go figure out how to protect that penny. Once you do that, everything else will just open up. Everything else will become easier, because then you'll figure out where it is that you can input different amounts, because Gator transactional lending is far, but there's so many different spots that you can eat from, and the best and quickest way to find out those spots is by protecting the money. I'm telling you, it is the fastest way.
Gotcha.
So.
No, that's really good advice. Really appreciate that, Date. And I guess the second question leading to that piece is, for someone starting out, like me, I just put all the money I had into an investment property. So that's pretty much gone there. So someone who doesn't have that much liquid cash at the moment, I guess, and I'm still waiting to build the corporate credit. So for me, I guess the two pieces, so like raising private capital is something I really want to dive into ASAP and getting into that. But for someone who doesn't have either the credit line or everything else involved, is the best thing for me to do is to, I feel like I'm pretty good at networking, and like finding deals is the best thing for me to do is to find those deals and bring them to people like you and partner with it. Or
I mean, brother, if that's something that you want to do, you want to bring deals to the Gator group, you want to bring deals to Big Picture Gators, you want to bring deals to MJ and I, however you want to do it, we're open. You want us to JV, we'll JV. We're not against helping people. Like I've said this since the beginning. I don't go out there and I don't look for deals. I don't try to go through our group to get deals. But I've always said since the beginning, if anybody wants us, MJ and I specifically, to JV with them, all they got to do is reach out. I don't ever want it to stop anybody's shine, but I don't also, the reason why I don't go out there and I try to get on every single deal that people pop in is because I also want to give opportunity to other Gators to learn and to grow, because the faster this community, especially this community, grows, like the better and easier everything will be, because then people realize like it's not about transactional lending. It's about how can I get Giselle to make money with Patricia to make money with Beth, to make money with Becky, like, and so on and so forth with Hans and Maggie. That for me, that's my question. How can I get everybody in this room to make money all on the same transaction by not forming a syndication and showing people that it is a lot better for us to stick together, grow together, learn together, defend this money together.
Yeah.
When we all collectively can get to that mindset, I guarantee you any mountain that's in front of you will move without question. Like you just speak it and it happens.
And I think just to add to what Dayton is saying, you know, many folks are here are trying to be connector, you know, connecting lender and the borrower, but try to be a very good connector with the right mindset. You know, it's not just about making the money being a connector.
Mhm.
It's also protecting the lender, right? You need to,
Absolutely.
if you can vet out the documents yourself, you are going to learn at that point of time. And then you can take it to the lender saying, okay, you know what, I have already reviewed the documents. You go through it again. And finally, if you're not comfortable, don't fund anything, right? That's going to be
Yep.
key. So that's going to help you also to learn a lot of things, right? How to look at the HUD statement, how to look at the title report, how to see if the borrower has put in, you know, rehab estimates in there or not. Has he put the right estimates?
Yep.
So those are kind of good questions to ask yourself before even you bring the deal to someone else, right? Because what I'm seeing in the Gator community right now is people are trying to be connector, but they are not trying to do their due diligence on that, right? On the deal itself. And then I would hate anyone to, you know, lose money. So try to be a good connector and not a self-serving connector.
100%. And if I ever wanted to get in contact with you guys, whether it's like for advice outside of these meetings, or, you know, if I do want to be a connector and go through the due diligence and like connect you guys with, you know, a potential deal, what's the best way to reach out to you guys? Is it through Facebook? Do you guys have like almost like
Messenger.
registered numbers? Like what's the best way that you guys recommend?
Yes, so I think most of the Gators are part of the Big Picture Gator group. I don't know if you're part of that calling yet.
Yep.
You are, right? So
Yep.
I think, you know, you just put a message there and you will be surprised to see everyone jumping in with their whatever they can help with.
Sweet. No, that's really sound advice. Thank you, Manesh. Thank you, Dayton.
Colin, are
Yeah.
you in the, sorry, Dayton, in the messenger chat?
It's all all pretty new to me. I think I'm in just like the main
No.
Gator Facebook group.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put my email on the chat so you can just email me and I'll send you the form for the group chat, and so we can add you there too. You can just reach us through there as well. It's easier.
Oh,
Guys,
that'd be
is everybody already in here in that chat, in that Facebook forum? Yes. Yes. I see a lot of yeses. Okay. Erica, what is I just seen briefly about Hans. What questions is he asking?
Yeah. So he wanted to open up the discussion about kind of getting into protecting the money, you know, the money and the due diligence. What are the tactics and kind of the best practices for doing that? And I had recommended maybe checking out, I think it's one of the first sessions in Kajabi in the vault on raising private capital, but you guys were specifically talking about securing, you know, for securing the money. And he wanted to kind of open up the combo for that. What do you suggest? And maybe honestly, Hans may be able to kind of elaborate too.
I think that we can probably set up a Zoom where we can focus specifically on that. I don't have
Perfect.
I don't have a problem doing something like that, or we give them an example.
Yeah, how about we walk through a few examples, get some go, no go, you know, decisions and things like that. I think just opening up and getting into the details would help a lot of people with being comfortable with a deal, myself included.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I believe we also have some too already on our YouTube channel. When the reason why MJ and I walked away from $1.4 million, it's a good
Yeah.
way.
So
that
I
we
think,
was able to,
yeah,
go ahead, MJ.
I think in most of the calls that we had, we always talked about few deals why we walked away from them, right? I think last week or week before that, we talked about a small deal where we funded the EMD. And I think it was Melody. She pulled the money back at the last minute because the borrower called her from a from Hard Cafe or somewhere, right? From
Yeah.
Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard
Sure.
Rock Cafe, yeah. And so each deal, even though we did a lot of vetting. We did ask for their bank statement. We asked for their payroll statements. And then, it turned out, that person was not good enough. And I think we should put together a document, all of us, right? Because each of the deal is different on how you vet things out. So some of the things that we are looking at, and I think we can just make a quick list of it, is a past projects that the borrower has done. So we are working on a deal with Grace and Mona right now, where we are looking at the past projects, how the LLC is formed, who are the members of LLC, do both members have to sign to borrow the loan? So many different things based on each of the deal. We can start building a list together. And I think someone did mention that it's in the vault where there is a small checklist over there. But I don't think that covers everything. So we might have to kind of build our own list and pass it on to the community, not just the big picture, but I think the entire Gator community.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, MJ. And Hans, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I appreciate that.
And just to add, maybe Hans, if you have like have a deal, you can like post it in the group, and we can all, who have time to check on it, then we can all help you check whether it's a deal or no deal.
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific. It's just how we all would orientate ourselves around one when they start to come through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like these deals are mostly like kind of like unique, and unless it's just like funding the EMD, then it's kind of like there's a standard for it. But all others, there's are so many moving pieces that you really have to look at and consider. Because like what they said, like you have to look on like the borrower's previous experiences, things like that. But what if you want to lend to someone who's like trying to build, first time to borrow? How do we evaluate it? So I think like all of us here can work together. If you bump into like one deal, put it on the group. Let's see the specifics, and if we can underwrite it and see if it's a good deal, then that's good, right?
Yeah, you're talking about, walking through specific deals like every week. Yeah, I
if
think
you
that
bump
would
into
be-
something and you want to analyze it, because it's just like so I think personally it's difficult to put down what should be the standard, because every deal is unique, it depends. And also like your personal comfortability on what kind of risk you can take. So I think personally, if you're kind of like don't know how will this be a good deal or a bad deal, you can put it on the group, and a lot of people in the group are, my experience is like they're very helpful. Like if I ask something, they like one or two will definitely jump into it and help out to answer. So I think that's what we can do too.
Well, I think being a little bit more proactive, and instead of waiting for deals, to jump into your lap, get a sense, and again, I'm probably speaking for a lot of people, but have a sense before they come in to do a quick acid test to say, this is definitely not a deal worth considering. I mean, just like we look at purchase prices versus rent. Is it close to 1%? I mean, just some quick pass fail, and then you'll get into the more,
Okay.
detail oriented, I'm going to say the finer details that do take more research, more time, but just to have an idea before they, before somebody wants an answer in a couple, 3 days.
Hans, real quick, let me ask you, brother, where are you at in your process right now?
First year investor up in Detroit, got a handful of properties, doing rehab on all those. Got a decent sized HELOC, got an LLC bank, all that stuff set up. Got a couple title companies that are willing to work with me. So just awfully busy and really having focus. Shame on me. But yeah, that's a quick snapshot of where I'm at.
Oh, no, it's fine, brother. I was trying to get the basis to see
Sure,
like
sure.
where exactly I can help you at to move you
Yeah.
further along.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we actually have two separate things we can set up here. We can actually do one where we bring Grace, where we bring like everybody on here, and then maybe we like try to give an example of a property. It doesn't even have to be a property on market. We can make one up, and the individuals can decide, you know, how I think we could walk through that process. Maybe it'd take us like 20 minutes and then do a Q&A for 15 minutes. I think we can possibly set something up like that. That's number one. And then the second thing is we can possibly, I wouldn't mind running a scenario, A to B scenario, and showing you guys how to protect the A to B, which is the seller to the escrow, and then the B to the C, which is the escrow to the buyer, and, you know, essentially see if you can get like cross collateral or get an end buyer signature and stuff like that. I don't mind walking through something like that, trying to get some details in. For me, that'd probably have to be a little bit out, but I think that we could, I wouldn't mind. MJ, Giselle, Erica, I don't think we would mind setting something like that up so people could, they could at least see the process, you know. And guys too, if you haven't watched the other ones, the other one of our YouTube group here, then please go and watch it. Because I know 4 days in, MJ and I, we try to tell you guys like the most important thing is protect the money. So, and for me, that is still the utmost important thing, is protect the money. I mean, obviously cultivation and giving back and education, but it's all about protecting the money. So I will stress that until I'm done doing this transactional lending, and especially if I'm raising somebody else's capital. So.
For sure. I also saw that Gregory Crane, I think he has also like a template where he has like a list of like things to ask for like EMD or PML. And just so you kind of have like that also document when you're talking to somebody that wants to lend money from you. Like he's going over that template, I think on Tuesday. I'm not sure what time. But just you kind of have like a document already to like, oh, this is things that I need to make sure that I have from the borrower to ask when they're like inquiring for your money. Just like that's kind of like the document that MJ wants, like send us to, like just start adding to that list and see what things we need to ask for before we even like think about like lending the money or how much we're going to get in return and stuff, like things like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's
So,
pretty fair.
Yeah,
That's
that's a good
standard.
point. So I'm just going to share the YouTube channel if you guys don't have access to that one. You guys can subscribe and look at the old channels or video that we put in the past.
Thanks, MJ. I didn't have no way to get to that, so I appreciate that.
Okay.
Nobody's
Any more
smart.
questions? If not, I think we can wrap up soon today.
Yeah, guys, we're just trying to be cognizant of the long weekend. So we kind of just want everybody to, we do want to be with you guys and have consistency here. So that's number one, but we also want to be, let you guys know that we do know it's a 4-day weekend. So does anybody have any questions? Is anybody stuck anywhere? Can we help you guys somehow in some way? So that way from now until from here, right now, this Friday until next Friday, you can at least be taking steps to your financial freedom. Is there anyone that is stagnant right now upon not a moving river? Anybody? Because if nobody's hands is going up, everybody's gonna go in and enjoy their weekend.
Yeah. I just have one thing to announce. I just wanted to clarify, and I think I'm going to do this on every podcast that we have, is we are not part of PACE's group. In other words, we are not associated him in the way of organizing this particular accountability group. This is more we are doing for fellow Gators and ourselves too. So just wanted everyone to keep that in mind before the words get out in the wrong way.
Yeah, MJ is correct, guys. We are our own entity. And MJ and I are facilitating in the background how we can move forward as BPG. And we are currently trying, not sure if many, you guys probably don't know, but I've already talked with Pace personally. And so we're trying to basically see what the parameters are for MJ and I on how we can move this forward, because obviously like there's a lot more that we want to do with our group. Today is obviously just one of those days, but I've seen our group just within weeks at 81, 79. So I know that we have people in here who enjoy what we do because they see that the value is here in this community. And so MJ and I, we want to push that forward. And currently right now I'm working with Carly. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who she is. But I have her personal email, that and Pace's, and yeah, so just know that when we are promoting whatever it is that we're promoting, just know when you guys come here that you guys are coming to Big Picture Gator Group. We're not against Pace, just so everybody knows. We're on the same, everything is good, but we cannot essentially promote Big Picture Gator, or excuse me, like Gator lending and all that stuff. Like, if that makes any, I don't know how to say this, but just know that we got you guys back and we're trying to work this legally in the background for everybody. Okay. So
Yep, we're all Gators, and this group was put together for new Gators to help you guys get off the ground, get launched,
correct.
and just really rally around each other and grow. And that's really what this is all about. So we're here to help you guys and serve you in any way we can. So thank you, Dayton and MJ and Giselle for all that you do for this group and for growing us. And I just can't thank you enough. And we really appreciate what you're doing. Matt, can we answer Madison's question? She raised her hand not only in Zoom, she actually raised her hand in the chat.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So thank you so much, Madison. What can we do for you, my dear?
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just say that I have a partner who has properties, okay, and they need funding. What is the very first thing before I go find that funding? What should I do? What should I go ahead and just go find the lender for their funding, or should I have drawn up like a piece, like an agreement of some kind? Or did I skip a step, or does that happen when the deal is going down? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does anyone want to jump in, or? Yeah, so Madison, the first and the most important thing is you will see the numbers, right? You will ask what their purchase price is, what their ARV is. For example, if this is a PML deal, right? You will ask them what the rehab cost is, what the holding cost is, how much will it cost them to sell the house? Because when they sell the house, it's going to cost them to pay the agent, pay the closing cost. And if the numbers make sense, then you ask them other documents, right? You will ask them, okay, provide me purchase sale agreement, provide me rehab code, provide me, if the house is already closed, provide me the HUD statement. You review all the documents. Now, if you think it's a good deal, then you go on the process of finding a lender, right?
Okay.
So
Yes.
first and the most important thing is underwriting, right? How are you comfortable with those numbers if you wanted to lend the money by yourself?
So this is actually a portfolio deal. And they came to me and I connected. I went out for the last week and a half searching for private money lenders. I was been on like 20 to 30 calls this week with private money lenders. So but I didn't, I know what the purchase price is, but I haven't seen any of the other documents.
Yeah, so portfolios are a bit different, multifamilies are a bit different. There's a different way of analyzing those deals.
Okay,
Yeah, and I think it's going to be, as a new gator, I would suggest focus on the residential deals for now, like single family homes. The multifamily and portfolio are good, but you need to have a deeper understanding of the numbers, net operating income, debt, how much debt they're paying, what's the management fees. So there are different kind of reports that you have to look for or ask for, and before you start looking for the lenders.
okay. I guess my next question is, because I believe I have found the private money lender to fund this deal. And I didn't know if I missed the skip of setting up a JV agreement with my partner, or does that come whenever the deal is starting to close and the private money lender is funding, and then we do the JV deal?
So have you already connected the borrower and the lender?
Yes.
You should not do that. You could be very easily be bypassed now, right? There is no incentive
Exactly.
for them to. So you should have, before you connect them, you should form the JV agreement with the
Okay.
who is paying you, lender?
Well, it technically, so there's a borrower, and then they assign somebody for funding, and she brought me the opportunity to find a private money lender. So me and this other connector are partners. So they're technically not the borrower. She just works for the borrower. And then I went out and possibly, I mean, it's not a done deal yet. They're supposed to be speaking about it Tuesday, but I possibly found someone to fund all of this.
Yeah. So just an high level, right? So whenever, before you connect the borrower and lender, your
Right.
agreement needs to be in place, right? Otherwise, you could be bypassed.
Okay. So let's just hope that they are
Yeah.
trustworthy.
I
Because
hope
this is
it doesn't
5
happen, but
portfolio deals. This is 5 portfolio.
Yeah. So
congratulations for getting the lender. Awesome job.
Well, let's hope he is.
sorry,
Yes.
MJ, I got kicked out, brother.
We did on purpose, brother.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure you could handle that question. So I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, other thing you would want to do is, now this is a validation more from when you are acting as a connector, right? There will be many folks who would say, what, oh, I'm interested to lend 500K, I'm interested to lend $1 million. And you provide them the initial numbers. And at some point, you got to go and ask them, okay, can you send me a proof of fund? Right? Unless you have a very trustworthy partner, they need to send you proof of fund at some point. We were working on a deal, and we provided them all kind of documentation. And at the end, she said, oh, they can invest only 100K on a 500K deal. And then I was.
So I'm sorry. So do I have to provide the proof of funds if it's a private money lender, or is it them? They have to
private
provide
money lender, the private money lender, because you need to ensure the time that you're spending at some point of time, they are also accountable, right? They need to provide you proof of fund. Otherwise, you will keep on working on the deal, spending time with them. At the end, you will realize they don't have money in their account, right? So at some point, once you provide some preliminary information, ask for proof of fund.
Okay.
That way, you know that you're working with the right partner.
Okay.
Madison,
and
I
then,
will say one last thing though, along these lines, and this is self-experience. Just know that before you bring it into whoever it is that you bring it to, whether it be the lender, the buyer, whoever it is, just make sure that from your end, your ducks are in a row, because once you get to trying to get to that finish line, communication is going to be key. And if all of your ducks aren't in a row and you're just going out there and you think that it's good to go, and again, I'm speaking from personal experience, you could get people wound up. You could, and you could do it without even intentionally doing it because you think that it's such a good deal. So you're like, okay, let me go rush and tell this person, okay, go raise me this money. And when in return, you should have did your due diligence and you should have made sure like this was an actual good deal and that the money is protected before you even came to them. And that is something that I learned just within the last 14 days. So that was like a slap on the wrist for me, but you learn from them. And so now this is my ability. I am able, because I walked through it, to tell you the same thing is before you go, you raise the capital, you get all of your ducks in a row, you make sure you have, because that person might be just the connector as well, going to somebody else, and they have to give them that same information. So you have to be cognizant about that, and also of their energy and of their time before you essentially bring them what it is that you want to do. So, and again, I'm speaking from personal experience. So,
Right.
yep. So just
Okay,
keep that in
so
mind.
the very first thing I needed to have done is JV agreement. And then once I found the private money lender, I needed the proof of funds. And then
Well,
what
before you do any of those steps, you
before,
figure out what the exit strategy is, and you figure out how do you protect that money. Before you do any of that other things, you need to make sure if it's a deal, and the way you make sure if it's a deal is if you can protect money. That's it, plain and simple. You can't do any of those things, and everything else is pointless.
okay, I guess I'm just a little confused on protecting the money and what you mean by that. Is it just the paperwork? Like,
Yeah, so what data means by that is, you got to see, so let's say there is a deal of $1 million, right? And you are bringing a private money lender who is bringing 900K out of that. Now, are they putting that particular person in first lien, second lien, right? Of course, since this private money lender is bringing 900K, they need to be in first position. Now you need to understand how are they going to pay back the 900K? What is the source for that payback, right? So yesterday, I think someone posted, okay, they are going to pay from wholesale fee. That's not a good source. What if they're not able to sell that house, right? So how do they pay back that 900K plus the fees? Is that coming from an institution? Is that coming from something else? How secured is that deal?
okay.
Yeah, and again,
And-
there's
And your due diligence document or document that you will ask are based on how they're going to pay you back, right? If someone is going to pay you back from an institutional loan, where are they in that process? Have they got a commitment from the bank? Are they going to pay them from the W-2? Okay, show me the payroll. Show me the W-2 payroll statement for last 3 weeks. So it all depends upon how they're going to pay you back.
Okay, well, I kind of know all of that information. I'm just gonna keep that to myself for now, but I do
Absolutely.
know all of that and their exit strategy and all of that. I guess my thing was just the paperwork, just because I'm good with paperwork if I know what I'm talking about. So I guess it's the step by step of what needs to take place, because I mean, I'm in the middle of it, so I'm not really upfront and, doing most of the signing and going through the transaction myself. I'm just the connector. So I was just trying to figure out all my ducks, I guess, as you said, all my ducks are in a row. Make sure this is all kind of a learning experience for me. I've only been a Gator for a month, so I've
Right.
been hit with this, and I'm hoping that I can get it done, but I'm just trying to understand the process and I kind of want it to be like a fly on the wall type deal.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to know what's going on, so I know for future endeavors,
Right.
that.
And sometimes, it's a gut feeling, right? But rather be, safe than be sorry, right? If you have
Right.
good partners, you can trust them, who you have worked with in the past. But if someone who you have not worked with, just met off of Facebook, And you will know, you will get the vibes when you want to sign a JV before or after or in between. You'll get to, when you talk to the person, you'll know. And I think one of the thing is, we have been in constant touch with few Gators here, right? We talk almost every single day, and that's how you build a relationship.
Mhm.
Then you start trusting them. They will start trusting you. It's as simple as saying hello on a text message, right?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Guys, is there no one else? Okay, so if there's no other questions, that means that when we get off this call, you guys can all move forward for the next week. Right? Right. Okay. I see heads nodding. All right. So then let's just call it. Let's call it a day, guys. It's 4:57 p.m. here in Alaska. Erica, I know it's about to be 9 o'clock there. Patricia, I believe you guys are about to be 8 o'clock, correct? 7 o'clock? 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So there you guys go. Guys, growing Gators is a lifestyle. Let's not be stagnant. Let's continuously move. Let's take one step at a time. One little step is better than no step to financial freedom. I will tell you guys that right now. I will tell you guys that right now. One little step to financial freedom is better than 0 steps to financial freedom. Growing Gators is a lifestyle, guys. Thank you guys for coming out. I look forward to seeing you guys next Friday. Let's do it. If you guys need to reach out, you guys got any questions, get to the Facebook forum, to the general core group, or to our group. Get those questions on there. I know that everybody comes out. Everybody is always willing to lend their experience. And that's what this needs to be about. It needs to be about growth. It needs to be about movement. It needs to be about togetherness and community and cultivation. Thank you guys for being here at BPG. We'll see you guys. Have a great weekend, guys.
Have a great weekend. Take care. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye. Thank you.